Alright, thank you all for being here today. So today I'm going to inform you all on the effects of vaping and how it can harm our bodies. So just a little quick article for you. Most of you guys know that vaping is one of the #1 trending things through high school and college, and it's been one of the things that has helped smokers stop smoking. So just an article for you from BBC News. The number of vapers has increased rapidly from 7 million in 2011 to 41 million in 2018. Market Research Group estimates that the number of adults who vape will reach almost 55 million by 2021. Also, according to the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the number of teens who started vaping increased from 220,000 in 2011 to just over 3 million in 2018. That's quite a bit. I'm sure most of you have witnessed people start vaping throughout high school. So what is the effect of an e-cigarette? Most of you guys may not know what can happen. There's evidence that e-cigarettes can have a substantial effect on blood vessels and can increase people's risk of heart attack. In addition to that, the high levels of nicotine, e-liquids also contain propylene glycol, also known as GC, and glycerin. This can irritate the user's airways and the eyes. So the more you do it, it'll clog up the airways, and yeah. Let's move on to my first point, which is negative effects of vaping. There are many effects of vaping that can harm our bodies. One of these, e-cigarettes contain ultrafine particles that can be inhaled deep into our lungs. These have flavorings such as diacetyl, a chemical used in a serious lung disease. They've also found heavy metals in these liquids, such as nickel, iron, and tin, and also lead in these e-liquids. The part of the brain that is responsible for the decision making and impulse control can also be affected by the e-liquids. Our brains aren't done developing until we're at 25 years old. So youth and young adults that hit these devices that can change the way our synapses are forming. It can also harm the parts of the brain, the attention that it can harm the parts of the brain that control learning and attention. A study done in 2018 reported that exposure to e-cigarette and aerosol makes teeth surfaces more prone to developing bacteria. They also have increased risk of cavities. So one way to prevent this is brushing your teeth before and after. That last study done, they also found that nicotine can damage oral cells and tissues in those people who smoke cigarettes also. As there's no long-term evidence, since this hasn't been around for too long, some studies have found that evidence vaping causes cell dysfunction. It oxidizes stress and can also damage the DNA cells. These cellular changes have been linked to the development of cancer over a long term. So is there a difference between vaping and smoking? Yes, there is. Smoking is considered to be more harmful than vaping because you inhale the tobacco and it's more smoke. But vaping can be a less risky choice. As smokers go towards vaping when they're trying to quit, people who don't smoke and have vaped before, they have more chances of getting all these effects in the long term. Some of you may know of CBD carts. That's kind of the new thing now. These don't have many side effects compared to vaping. Some of these are fatigue, irritability, and nausea. They tend to be more mild than vaping. Some ways to minimize the side effects of vaping is avoid the flavored juices such as berry, fruity, pineapple, coffee, tropical vanilla, and sweets. One other thing you do is to taper the nicotine. So about every other day, you can lower the nicotine dosage until you get to 0 nicotine and then just completely stop. Another thing is drink plenty of water to flush out all the nicotine throughout the day, and your brush your teeth after is one of the main things. So why should someone quit vaping? There's a lot of unknown side effects yet since it hasn't been around too long. Recent studies can lead to serious lung damage and some serious type of cancer. It can also lead to a major addiction that can cause us to start other substances down the road in our lifetime since our brain isn't fully developed. You also have brain risks, our brain development. It can affect our mood and ability to control our attention. Some of you guys may play sports. Can also, you want to do best in the sports, and it inflames our lungs, and it's also expensive. It's pretty expensive. Juice adds up over time, and you don't want to buy the things. You want to buy the things you need. So vaping can be expensive over time. So one thing you can do to prevent vaping. People say it's harder to quit smoking than vaping. You want to avoid the substitutes such as patching, gum. It'll keep the addiction alive.